Okay. My name is Emily Pierce, and I work in administration and finance, and I'm leading the communication efforts on the transition of monthly paid employees to a biweekly pay schedule. We have others on with us today from the payroll office, and we might have some joining us from HR today. Today, I'm going to walk through the timeline of the transition and try to cover all the things that you need to know. I do want to mention that today's town hall is focused specifically on the group of employees transitioning to biweekly payroll in August of 2024. So this is 9-month faculty, and that includes both 9 pay to 9 and 9 pay to 12 groups. We do have town halls available specifically for staff in 12-month academic positions, as well as GAs and salaried student employees. So after I walk through the timeline and the details of the transition, I'll open it up to you guys at the end. Ask any questions that you have. I want to make sure we leave plenty of time for that. So we'll just jump right in. 9-month faculty should have received an email the first week of October about the details of the transition to biweekly payroll. There were a couple of groups that we still needed to get some communication out, and that includes some adjuncts and faculty emeritus that are paid on additional pay. So we'll be getting that email out to them shortly. So I think one of the first questions that people ask or want to know around this transition to biweekly payroll is kind of the why behind it. Why are we transitioning Norman campus to or from a monthly schedule to a biweekly pay schedule? So we've got a few reasons why. So half of Norman campus employees are already paid on a biweekly schedule. So all of our hourly paid employees are currently paid on a biweekly schedule. And all of the health science center employees are paid on a biweekly schedule. HSC actually transitioned their employees to biweekly in 2015. So a few reasons why we're making this transition now. In our current monthly state that we process payroll, we're processing it prospectively, which means that in the middle of the month that we're processing payroll for, actions could be occurring at the end of that month. So in the middle of December, we're processing actions that are occurring at a future date. So in the event that, an action or an event occurs after the payroll deadline, we've essentially missed the deadline to get it corrected on that month's paycheck. In a future biweekly state, we're processing payroll retrospectively, which means that the payroll deadline would be the last pay of the pay period. And so that allows us to eliminate or at least significantly reduce the amount of payroll errors that result in overpayments or incorrect payments, emergency check requests. So to give you an idea, over the past 4 years, Norman campus has processed about 900 payroll corrections per year. That's just an average over the last 4 years. And so, that has an impact not just on the central offices, but across every office across campus that's processing payroll. So that's pretty much every office. So, and then of course it directly impacts the employees that are experiencing those errors. Generally, we're making efforts across all areas of the university to standardize our business practices, so we aren't operating so differently or separately across campus. That just helps us be more efficient and hopefully reduce some of those errors. On Norman campus, we currently process 38 payrolls per year. So we have 12 monthly plus the 26 biweekly. In a future state, we will just process the 26 biweekly. So all of the monthly employees will follow the same biweekly schedule that's already in place for hourly employees. And so we are hopeful that that frees up time, again, not just in the central offices, but across all of the departments across campus that process payroll and review payroll. From a recruiting perspective, there are many employees, not working at the university that are coming in, and they may be used to a biweekly pay frequency, or at least a frequency in which they're getting paid more frequently than monthly. And so that is one of the more common ways of paying people. I know that's not across the board in academics, We've definitely reached out to other peer institutions, and there's just kind of a mixed bag. Some of our existing staff have expressed interest in being paid more frequently, so they're able to make mortgage payments more frequently or investment contributions more frequently. And it may also, I think, benefit our lower paid employees, like our graduate assistants, who may be struggling to make it 30 days between paychecks. So just trying to point out some of the positive things that can come from this change. But I know that with any change, it is always uncomfortable sometimes to go from what you're used to something new. So we are making a lot of effort and trying to communicate about this change as early on as possible and as frequently as possible. So I want to kind of dive into the timeline a little bit, but first I want to mention that there are 3 groups of employees that have different transition dates in 2024. So the monthly staff and 12-month academic positions are transitioning to a biweekly pay schedule in April of 2024. And then the GAs and salaried employees or salary student employees will transition in July of 2024. And then 9-month faculty, both 9-9 and 9-12, will transition in August when contracts renew. So we try to select the dates that were most optimal with these 3 employee groups. So I've got the timeline pulled up here so that you guys can see this. So within the 9-month faculty group, we actually kind of have 3 subgroups within there. We have the faculty that are 9 paid over 9 months, and then we have kind of 2 groups within the faculty that are 9 paid over 12 months. We have faculty whose contracts renew on August 1st, and we have those faculty whose contract renews on August 16th. So, and when I say renew, I don't mean like all of your offer letters have an 8/16 date typically. When I say renew, I just mean in the payroll system. And there's really no way for you that you would probably know or be aware of when your contract renews in the payroll system. If you're 9 paid and 12, because you just know I get a paycheck every month. The reason why there's a different date from the 8/1 and the 8/16 is just that starting in 2021, we changed the renewal date to 8/16. So if you were hired in August 2021 or later, then your contract likely renews on 8/16. Whereas if you were here before August 2021, your contract renews 8/1. If you have any questions or you're unsure, please just reach out to me and I'll make sure you have my contact information before we wrap today. And then you should have in October, you should have received a specific email that told you which group you were in. But again, if you have any questions or missed that email, just let me know. Okay, so I'm going to go through each of these and just kind of bear with me as we go through them, and hopefully kind of makes more sense once we look at a visual here. So if you are a 9 paid in 9 faculty member, you'll receive your last monthly paycheck for your, and I'm talking just regular contract academic year pay, not summer salary. But so you would receive your last monthly paycheck for your regular contract pay in May of 2024, just like you're used to, for about half a month pay from May 1st through the 15th. And then you'll go on your summer leave. And then when you come back in August to start the 24-25 academic year, you will enter into a biweekly pay cycle. So that biweekly pay cycle is illustrated here by these kind of color-coded blocks. So your first day of the first biweekly pay period will be August 10th. And so for August 10th through the 23rd, you'll receive that paycheck on September 6th. So biweekly payroll, we talked about monthly versus biweekly, and biweekly is processed retrospectively. So biweekly pay payroll gets paid 2 weeks after the week or after the pay period ends. So you'll receive your first paycheck on September 6th, and then your next paycheck will be on September 20th. For this group, the way that you get your biweekly rate is you take your annual rate and divide it by 20 pay periods. So there are 26 pay periods or 26 biweekly pay periods during the year. And there are 20 biweekly pay periods during the kind of 9-month window, the academic year. So if you're 9 paid in 9, you take your annual salary and divide it by 20. If you are a 9 paid in 9 faculty member and you're getting summer salary for summer 2024, you will continue to receive that as a monthly pay, just like you're used to. And if you pay yourself for half a month in August, then you would receive that monthly paycheck on August 31st if you are getting summer pay. Okay. For the 9 paid in 12 group whose contract renews on August 1st, and again, contract renews just like within the payroll system, you will receive your last monthly paycheck for the 23-24 academic contract year or academic year on July 31st. Okay. So if we started you on August 10th and you didn't get your first paycheck until September 6th, that probably would not feel very good. So for this year only, for the transitional year, what we've done is we've built in an extra pay period for you where you will receive your first biweekly paycheck for the 24-25 contract period on August 23rd. And so what you will do just for this transitional year only is you would take your annual salary divided by 27 pay periods to get your biweekly rate for the 24-25 year. So you would receive your last monthly paycheck on July 31st, your first biweekly on August 23rd, and then your next biweekly on September 6th, and then again on September 20th, and so on every other Friday thereafter. Okay. After this transitional year, so when your contract renews for the 25-26 year, then you will go back to taking your annual salary divided by 26 pay periods. Okay. So for the 9 paid in 12 group whose contract renews on August 16th, you'll receive your last monthly paycheck for the 23-24 academic year on August 31st. And that will be for August 1st through the 15th. And then you'll enter this biweekly schedule on the 10th, and you'll get your first biweekly paycheck on September 6th. And that'll be for 2 weeks of pay. So again, last monthly paycheck is on August 31st. First biweekly paycheck is September 6th, and then September 20th. And this group, you take your annual salary and divide it by 26 pay periods. The difference in these is in these two groups of 9 paid and 12 is that there would have been a pretty significant gap in pay for those that renew on August 1st. So we wanted to find a way to mitigate that. With this group whose contract renews 8/16, there isn't that gap because you're already receiving a check on August 31st. Okay. So the kind of, we're used to thinking about our academic year in terms of 9 months or semesters in terms of 4.5 months. And when we kind of re-gear and start thinking about a biweekly schedule or biweekly pay schedule, there are 10 biweekly pay periods each semester. And so each semester we will have these dates that kind of move. So you're used to thinking 8/16 is when my kind of pay kicks in, but really your payroll or your pay calendar will be different than your contract dates. So, you'll still report to work whenever you've agreed with your supervisor or your department chair. These are truly just payroll dates to get you paid out over the course of the semester or academic year or calendar year if you're paid over 12 months. Okay. Let's see. So on our website, we have a 24-25 payroll calendar. And it's on our main page. If you have any troubles finding it, just holler at me and I can definitely send that to you. But it'll show you the full calendar projected out. It shows you the academic year and by semester pay periods, as well as the summer pay periods. We also have a breakdown of some employee resources that I wanted to show you, make you aware of. We have a kind of a side-by-side comparison of what does my payroll look like on a monthly basis and what changes when I go to biweekly. And that is grouped by each of the groups that we went over today as well. In addition to that, Magellan, our employee assistance provider, is going to be offering financial workshops specific to OU employees making this transition to pay frequency. So that's open to all employees that want to attend. We had one in November, and the recorded version is on our website if you're interested, or we have another live version coming up on January 18th. Other resources available to all employees that are transitioning to biweekly pay schedule, and that includes GAs, is the OU Federal Credit Union is offering 0% interest 12-month loans for up to 1 month of the employee's net salary. And you probably, they've asked that folks don't apply for those until about a month before they transition to biweekly pay, just so you get the most benefit out of that. And we also have we have a pay calculator here where you can download an Excel version and type in your gross or net pay. And the net pay is just an estimation. Things vary across your pay, and you're also kind of entering that based on this point in time. So if you make any changes to health benefits after January, then you may want to look at that again. I am going to pause, and I'm going to stop recording and then open it up to you guys to ask any questions that you have.